Hey guys, welcome to another Night Owl Ramble. Tonight we're going to be talking about something that's really on everybody's minds, and that is the quarantine that we're all finding ourselves in, and the weird, unexpected turn that our lives have taken. Now, this is all going to be from my own personal experiences, but I feel it's important to talk about it. I feel it's important to have a space where I can just say, this is what I'm doing while in quarantine. This is how it's going for me, and these are the experiences I'm having and the thoughts that I'm having. So, first of all, I'm just going to flat out say it sucks. But I can't imagine this being awesome. So, which is hard for me because I'm an introvert and I'm a homebody, but I also really do like to go out and have new experiences and explore things, and I think that I would take to this a little bit easier had I not spent pretty much this whole year so far being pretty isolated. And the truth of the matter is, even if you're an introvert, you can only be isolated for so long before you're like, okay. um, so basically, to explain, my husband has a job that can be somewhat demanding, and since the beginning of the year, essentially, he's been working a lot of overtime. And I am a stay-at-home parent of a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. Two boys who are high energy, very rambunctious, very social little butterflies. Their introverted mother has a tough time. But, so I, as a stay-at-home mother, already tend to feel isolated quite a bit. And to keep that, or to also have that to the point where my husband is working so much, so it basically leaves me home all the time with them. I don't really get a whole lot of time to myself. I don't really get a break, and it's really hard for me to ask for help. One, because that's just part of my personality, and yes, it is something I'm working on. And two, because in a practical sense, my husband's family is the only ones that can help us, and I often don't want to overburden them, even though they're happy to help me, and they've said so many times. But my family is in a different state. As you guys know, I'm from Washington State and I live here in Minnesota. But also, my family, not here, but I also only have one parent alive because my mother passed away 2 years ago. And that in itself causes a lot of grief and a lot of feelings, because my mother would have helped a lot with my sons, and she wanted to. She wanted to be a very big part of their lives. So, that brings about a whole lot of mixed feelings. But that's quarantine aside. Basically, my husband worked a ridiculous amount of overtime, and by the time things finally let up, which was the beginning of March, we had about a week of a breather, and then this whole thing with COVID-19 came completely head to head. And when I did a year ahead spread reading in the end of December, I pulled the tower for March, and I was like, what is going to happen in March? Because I just, you get those cards in the tarot where you're just like, oh, why are you here? But I've already had experiences with my year ahead spread, doing a year ahead reading. I think this is the 3rd or 4th year in a row that I've done one, where it has become very predictive to the point where I've had very profound experiences. Basically, in short, my year ahead spread for 2018 predicted my mother's death, and when I did it, I knew exactly what it was telling me, but I was in complete and utter denial. So to have this experience basically again where I felt that it was going to be something major and life-changing, but I had absolutely no idea what it was really weighing on me for pretty much the first couple of months of the year, where I was like, what is going to happen in March? And then I was in such denial that when the news of COVID-19 started coming out of China, I sat there and said, oh, it's probably just fear-mongering. And I feel terrible for that now, truthfully, now really understanding, because it's one thing to hear of something, but then when it gets closer to home and you have more of an experience of the severity of it in your day-to-day life, it changes your perspective on it. It's not, you can't look at it with rose-colored glass anymore. You just can't. And I didn't mean anything insensitive about it. sometimes I have a hard time trusting the media, really, truthfully. But so, you know, we jump into this quarantine, and our day-to-day lives change very quickly. And for me personally, it didn't change a whole lot because I'm a stay-at-home parent. But mentally it did, because now I thought, okay, I can't do the things that were keeping me sane. I can't go see friends. I can't go out for a dinner with my husband. I can't go get a drink with a friend. I can't go on a drive with a friend. I can't have my own social life because of all this that is happening, and that is something to grieve. There's a lot that's happening that it's okay to grieve it, and I get stuck into this cycle of comparative suffering, and where I sit there and tell myself, well, I'm not in healthcare, I'm not working out in the front lines of this, seeing people die every day, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think I could emotionally handle that, and my heart and utmost respect goes out to those who are in the front lines of this, and that's not just healthcare workers, that is anybody who's in essential service. But I do that, where I get into this space where I'm like, oh, well, you know, I have nothing to complain about. But then I tend to completely push down all of the things that I'm thinking and feeling until they burst, and then that's just not healthy. So I think it's okay for me to say that this does suck, and that I have a better understanding of how much it sucks now, and that it's okay to grieve the things that are happening. I mean, you know, we have everything canceled basically because of COVID-19, and all because we're trying to save lives. And while that is a completely noble and very necessary thing to do, I think it's still okay to feel sad about the things that we've lost because of it. There's a mass amount of grief being felt right now. Which leads me to my other thing that I feel I need to discuss. My dreams lately have been off the freaking rails, and they intensified over the full moon, because that tends to happen, although some months is less so, but right now it's like they are off the rails completely, and to the point where I've had dreams about several people in this community, and I've had to go to them and be like, hey, so I had this dream about you, and it's really freaking weird, but I feel I need to tell you that this is a message, and and then I just feel silly. But I've made a promise to myself that when I get intuitive hits like that, to not deny them. I'm working on it. The other thing that I have really been going through with being quarantined is I cannot be satisfied with my personal space. I have switched around my shelves trying to figure out where I want everything to be. I've switched up my altar a couple of times. Like, I just don't know what I want. And I think it's because I keep trying to seek control, because everything feels so out of control. But as for the things that I have taken up, I have taken up digital art. My husband surprised me with it's actually right back here. Well, I'm gonna grab it. A 2-in-1 tablet for my belated birthday present, and so I got a HP Envy, and I've been able to do digital art with it, because he also got me, where are you, an HP pen. So I've been having a lot of fun kind of exploring with that medium and doing digital art. It's a whole different thing for me, but I've been really enjoying it. Hurt arm. The other thing that I've been doing lately is teaching myself how to sew, kind of. All I've really been doing is patching holes in my son's clothes, because he is extremely hard on his clothes, and I will buy him a pair of pants and within a day he rips a hole in the knee, and it's ridiculous. So I'm trying to sew them up. I don't know how well my sew job is going to do, but I'm trying. And then the things that have been lacking lately are my reading. I have serious monkey mind right now with what I want to read, and it's driving me nuts because I have all these wonderful books that are in my to read pile, and I just went through them last night and I was like, I don't know what I want to read right now. I've read through probably half of them halfway through and then stopped, and it's driving me nuts because I would like to just sit down and finish a freaking book, but I can't. The other thing that's been really lacking lately is my planning, my paper planning, and my journaling and my creative journaling. I have had no desire to do it. I have not done anything at all for March or April, and specifically in my tarot bullet journal, and also in my personal planner, I have not done anything for April because it just, everything feels so abnormal, and I don't have a whole lot to plan, but there are things that I'm still trying to do every day, and I can't have it all up in here because it makes my anxiety worse. So I'm trying to do housework, trying to take care of my kids, trying to take care of my own body. I've recently been, I think it's almost a month now, I have been consistently working out again. And I've been aware that I've been ignoring my own wellness. And the other thing is that I have not been able to continue with therapy, although my therapist is doing tele appointments. I don't have the time to do it because I don't have anybody to watch my children, and my husband works from home now for the next foreseeable future, and my therapist only has appointments during his working hours. So yeah, that kind of sucks because it would be really nice to do that. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, is because I'm feeling isolated. I need to ramble about how unpleasant this is in my case. And I'm trying to tell myself that that's okay. But let's see, I keep going back and forth between like what I am doing and what sort of slumped off, but I had forgotten that I wanted to mention something that I have been doing lately, and that is that I have been trying to turn to my spirituality more. I have been trying to develop a daily practice. I recently have been really pulled to start meditating again, and I think it's honestly because for the last month or so, I've been getting a lot of spiritual messages and heightened experiences and energies. Something is going on in conjunction to what we are experiencing, and I don't know how to explain it, but I can sense it, and it's weird and it's hard to explain because I'm sort of a novice when it comes to really trusting my intuition, because I've spent so long ignoring it that over the last 2 years it's really come to a point where I've realized I can't anymore. And I've talked about this a lot on here, but I'm feeling quite a bit, and I don't know how to explain it, but because of that, I am feeling the pull to go to my altar more frequently. I'm feeling the pull to make time for my spiritual practice. And this is where I kind of wish I would bring paper planning back into it and step back into that, because I do feel that that helps me sit down with a cup of coffee, open my planner and look at the things that I need to do for everyone else and myself during the day. But I have really been wanting to meditate more frequently, and it's hard because I'm still trying to figure out what type of meditation works best for me, because there's so many different types and so many different ways to do it. And I've noticed, at least in my experiences, that I tend to do really well with creative visualization, and that's something that I've just been trying to focus on. But yeah, it hasn't been super awesome. But I can't expect, when we are in our world is in such peril, that anybody would really be feeling good right now. So with that being said, I honestly just want to open the floor for the people who do watch this channel and have listened to me ramble and whine essentially for the last, I don't even know how long. I'm sorry, guys. But if you want to vent about something, please put it in the comments down below. If you want to talk about how much this sucks, or an experience that you've had with COVID-19, or even if it's, hey, I was really looking forward to this concert and now it's canceled and I can't go. Even if it's something like that, I don't care. It still sucks. It's something you can grieve, and that's totally okay. It's okay to feel these things, and I'm saying that as much for my own benefit as for yours. So if you guys want to vent about something, please put it in the comments down below. We are all in this together, and this is something that we are all going through and experiencing as a collective, as the human race. And it's unlike anything I have ever experienced, that's for sure. And I know that it's unlike anything most people have ever experienced. And it's really hard not to be able to hug loved ones, or it's really hard to have my children, have to try to explain to my children, you can't go see your grandparents right now, you can't hug them, it can't happen. We've had several people come and drop meals off, and that's been really great, especially because another fun added thing to this whole mess is that my husband has been sick for the last week, and we don't think that he has COVID-19. We're pretty sure he just got sick with the flu, but it still sucks because the moment that anyone coughs or spikes a fever or anything right now, you're just like, anxiety. And for me personally, I already suffer with an anxiety disorder, so I've been doing my best to try and be aware and mindful of the things that I am personally experiencing within my own emotions and my own thoughts, and what I can do to help myself. And it's not easy, especially when you're spending most of your time caring for other people. But I feel as though it's important to come on here and talk about it, and talk about how this is difficult, because if we don't talk about it, especially since we're all in quarantine right now, what else are we gonna do? We're all gonna go mad. So thanks for listening to me, guys, and I hope that this was helpful in some way. Please put a comment down below if there's anything you want to vent about with this whole situation. Please do, and as always, blessed be.